Hello, everyone. This is Daniel Riley for Sports Talk on Power Talk Internet Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in. This past weekend, disgusting news of another shooting, this time in a church, distracted Americans on their weekend off. Once again, we are left to wonder what's becoming of society, and I feel it's a responsibility to address this because I don't want to have to talk about this issue again for quite some time, and I'm sure none of my listeners want to hear it. I'm not going to waste my time discussing what needs to be done. I've done that already, and clearly that's not a course of action the government wants to take. Listeners, we've had to spend too much time worrying about our safety just going out to watch a movie, taking the subway to work, or going to church, synagogue, or a mosque. The media, meanwhile, eats events like this up, knowing sick monsters like this help their ratings. I can only pray this is the last one. Now, I'm not holding my breath. That's what concerns me. It makes too much sense right now to expect another one. It's become so commonplace, human society has become desensitized to it. Is that really a world any parent wants to raise their kids in? No, of course not. About, 30 years ago, legendary, if controversial, director Oliver Stone satirized modern America's love affair with blood, gore, and violence in a movie all of us over 21 remember called Natural Born Killers. When I first watched it in college, I was disgusted. There was no way that could possibly be the America I grew up in. I told myself this was a just cheap opinion from a director who put together the factually inaccurate JFK. This past weekend, I was clearly proven wrong. All the elements were there. A demented monster killing people, the press giving the killer way too much airtime so they could make some money, and the sense we'd just move on as if nothing had happened. It's scary to think this could happen again. We all want this disaster to be something that could only happen in the movies. In no way am I suggesting we should repeal the Second Amendment or censor television and cinema at all. What I am saying is, we've forgotten it doesn't have to be this way. Something has to be done. Modern society's obsession with violence Oliver Stone mocked is indeed playing a role in this. That's not to say the monster who shot up that church isn't 100% responsible. He is. I want to make that clear. This is on him. That said, this situation has gotten so out of control. Look, I can accept the fact this world will never be a completely safe place. What I cannot accept is the risk of being murdered just going out to run some errands. That's a problem. True, the statistical odds of dying by someone else's hands are remote here in the States, but there are certain threats society is better off without. I wouldn't be surprised if the man who shot up that church is criminally insane. That's why I've suggested psychological testing for potential gun owners. A little common sense can solve this problem. Sad thing is, Congress won't apply it. By no means do I feel being murdered is a major threat when I wake up in the morning. I have, however, heard of too many events like this to count. They just keep piling up. It's ridiculous. I'll bet my listeners are as frustrated as I am. I've already mentioned Congress won't get around to it. They're too busy bickering over trivial matters, like if someone gets rubbed the wrong way by something. It's going to take the individual states to step up and put the right governor in office. That's the only way I really see any action being taken anytime soon. That's sad, but that's the facts. We have done a pathetic job of stopping gun violence and take the lazy way out by blaming the press for it and taking no further action. We get paranoid. We take the old Looney Tunes cartoons off the air because of their content and simply assume that's going to stop it. It hasn't, has it? Tragic deaths are the biggest consequence of this church shooting. No mistake, but our newfound paranoia is another. Simply keeping the wrong guy from getting his hands on a gun isn't as hard as it looks. It really isn't. And feel free to call 911 if you feel unsafe. It's just that we're not improving as a society when events like this lead to no action except taking stuff off the air. It's just so ridiculous, so little real action is taken. No, extremist sentiment that censorship and repealing the Second Amendment will cut it isn't the answer. That won't fix anything. Teaching our kids the truth about violence and keeping those, like the man who shot up that church, responsible for what he did is. Let's hope we can promote psychological testing for potential gun owners. It's badly needed right now. This is Daniel Riley for Sports Talk on Power Talk Internet Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you all do so again next week. So long.